Luciano Berio was an Italian composer who was one of the most important figures in experimental and electronic composition during the mid-20th century. He was born in Oneglia, Italy in 1925 and was taught piano by his organist father and grandfather. However, after injuring his hand during training for World War II, he focused on composition instead. He made a living accompanying singing classes, which is where he met his wife, the American mezzo, Kathy Berberian. In the 1960s, he began teaching in American universities, including the prestigious Juilliard School in 1965, where he founded the Juilliard Ensemble. In this time, he taught many composers and musicians who would become notable over the next half-century, including Steve Reich and Louis Andriessen. Berio was always drawn towards innovation, possessing an innate ability to question the formations of established conventions and to lightly push traditional limitations to see what would happen. He wrote Thema Omagia a Joyce in 1958, which was one of the first electroacoustic compositions of its kind. First, he recorded Kathy reading from Ulysses by James Joyce at his studio di Funaglia. Then, using the technology of the studio, he split apart the spoken words and classified them based on their resonance colours, commenting on the deconstructed language that the sound becomes meaning. This merging of science and art is something that is very common today, with many contemporary art pieces being used to showcase the possibilities of new technology. Technology companies have also begun utilising this experimentation by commissioning projects that demonstrate their products. Berio is also widely known for his Sequenza series, which contains 14 pieces that he wrote from 1958 until 2002, 1 year before his death. These pieces are considered amongst the most challenging pieces for each instrument used, and calls for utilisation of the full range of the possibilities of the instrument. Many of the sequenzas use extended techniques to fully explore the extreme sonic ranges. I highly recommend investigating these pieces, particularly if you play an instrument that has a sequenza written for it. They are an incredible display of the mechanisms behind the sound production and range of the instrument, and the precise physical control and skills of the performers. I plan on exploring these sequenzas in detail in a future video. Berio's Sinfonia is another excellent example of his work, where 8 amplified voices work with and around an orchestra to create what Leonard Bernstein described as representative of the new direction classical music was taking after the 1960s. It also has a beautiful tribute to the past in the third movement by quoting numerous pieces from many of the great composers that came before. While his work may be intimidating to listen to for those new to contemporary, modern, atonal or experimental music, his presence has undoubtedly stretched the limits of sound manipulation and technology. His was a world of extremes and pushing boundaries that many didn't even know existed. Luciano Berio died in 2003 and left a lasting legacy of music, ideas, and ultimately humour. There is much wit to be found in his works, teaching and writings. He took his work very seriously, but not himself, and that's something I feel that we should all aspire to do.